this film is not like any other Indian films that I've seen before. Not that it's definitely not better than any film. I'm just saying that it's very different. I want to to say a few words about the background. In 1974, almost 50 years ago, I made a film based on a novel by the famous Israeli author Amos Oz. And the name of that film was My Michael. It was Israel's, it was sent to be nominated in the Oscar as a nominee. And thank you. And now I met Amos. I mean, I've been a friend of Amos, and unfortunately he died a few years ago. And I optioned this novel for him. I want to say a word about Amos Oz. Amos Oz always cared about the Arab people, the Palestinian people living in the land. And he said, we are like twins. They deserve also a state of their own. And because of that, he was called by other people from the opposition a traitor. And he wrote this novel dealing with the subject of who is called, sometimes there are politicians, heads of states, who, in order to gain power, they say that the other side, who is just, has a different opinion, he says, they are traitors, they betrayed our land or whatever. So he decided in this novel to deal with the biggest, the Judas, who people say betrayed, Jesus. And in this film, deals in all kinds of ways the question of, betrayal. And I've, unfortunately, Amos was alive when I optioned the book, and I, started working on the script. He actually saw the first two versions of the screenplay. As you know, the Jewish people have suffered over the years because, of anti-Semitism. It came from early times, the Crusaders, the pogroms, the Inquisition, in Spain, where Jews were killed because they were not Christians. And later on, with the Nazi, where millions of Jews. So there's this thing, and in this film, Amos says something very interesting, that maybe one of the biggest reasons to anti-Semitism is the way Judas is portrayed in the New Testament. I hope my film will be interesting for you. I'm not saying will move you. And I'm very glad to be here. India, I think, is one of the only countries in the world where there was no anti-Semitism, and the Jews didn't suffer. Thank you.